Hello Aquarius, Aqua Babies. Welcome to your weekly reading with me, Cindy. So this week is Faery week. Now, I'm going to be like full on honest with you. I'm tired. I don't know why I'm as tired as I am. Well, there's been a lot of changes this year for me personally and for the world. So I'm just tired. And thinking, gosh, Faery week, it can be tiring because I'm reading so many excerpts from the books, right? And that can be really deep. So I have this inspiration, and here's the funny thing. The Oakmen have been calling to me, right? Like, dudes, I'm tired. I don't know when I have time or the energy to do a collective reading. So I thought maybe I just won't include the fairies this week. Like, I'll kind of look into, because the cards that we're going to look into, we're going to ask about, you know, what are you being asked to release? What are you being asked to embrace? What hidden factors around you don't know about? An energy that's approaching you. And then there's an extended with a fairy card as well. And it's all about your inner child trying to connect and talk to you. That's going to stay the same. That's going to stay the same. So I had this feeling, I thought, I feel like the Oakmen want to talk to each sign, like each zodiac sign. And I thought, no. That's seems like too simple a resolution for me to still do fairies this week, but not have to read. Well, even I'm going to read it every time, but it's going to become second nature for me. I might even have the whole script, like, won't even have to read in the book by the end of the week. I thought, I don't know. And you know what? I picked up the deck, and it was there. I thought, oh. And then I sat here, and I'm looking up at my window. It's like a big rectangle, and then it's got like a half arch at the top. And the crescent moon in the blue sky is right in the middle of my crescent window. I think this is all kind of like telling me, yeah, the energy is aligned to do that. So that's what this week is. It's the fairies, but it's the Oakmen to you. It's the Oakmen to you. Oh yeah, so I'm going to do that. I thought I'd mention something else too. Aquarius might find this interesting. I've been noticing I'm getting a lot of emails lately from a lot of people, and they're all claiming to be Jesus. I'm thinking, you know, I don't know that all of you can be. And even if one of you was Jesus, I don't know that you'd probably be doing better things than sending me an email. I just think that's interesting. It's interesting. There's a lot of people out there who think they're Jesus. Now, I do want to say that, hey, you might be. I'm not one to really tell anybody who they are. But I kind of wonder, if we were going to get another prophet or someone to come down and talk to us, would they really do it in the form of someone that they've already been? That was like 2,000 years ago. I don't know. You know, I don't know. Anyways, I'm just in one of those, yeah, I think I need to do some readings. I will tell you that often when I do readings, I feed off your energy, so I will thank you for that. I've talked to some other readers about that too. And like I can feel really low energetically, and then I start doing the readings and it sort of symbiotic, guys. I know you often thank me for this, but sometimes I don't know how it works, but I am empathic, so maybe in some ways I kind of suck up your energy. So thank you. So let's get started. You have the Oakmen. Do you really want to know what it says about them? Let's see what the book says about them. And then we're going to pull cards. Number 47, the Oakmen. We shall hold them up. They represent strength, ancient wisdom, and depth. Sounds about right. I had an interesting lesson from the Oakmen about how we humans use fairies to mirror our own projections. The eyes of the Oakmen are a warm light brown, but some people look at them and say, oh, red eyes, scary. Yeah, they do look a little orangey, but no. I tried a little experiment using digital magic. I made a copy of the Oakmen and gave them blue eyes. I don't know that they would look good like that. I then asked some people for their impressions of the men, and words like innocent and sweet and melancholy came back. Then I changed them to an unreal looking violet and got responses like, oh, so spiritual, so wise. Had the Oakmen changed? Of course not. But what people projected onto them had. Ooh. When we look at a fairy, we can simply project all of our fears and insecurities and prejudices and delusions on them. or we can try to see them as they are. In a sense, all oracles are simply mirrors of the wisdom and confusion within the reader. But if we only look at them through our personal filters and projection, we learn very little. It is only when we actually try to see beyond ourselves that we begin to see the oracle as a mirror of the cosmos and all of its wisdom. One member of the oracle group looked at them and wrote, "When I see this card, I lose all track of time. I feel deep grounding and peace contentment. Everything is there if you just take the time to be part of it. It is a deep homecoming for me. To me, the Oakmen show the deep wisdom of age, the inner peace and strength of the elders. This is what the Oakmen are about. Can you look at them and see them as they are? Or can you only see your own projections? The universe, like the Oakmen, is full of wisdom and compassion and strength, but it doesn't always come in pretty packages." I really think they are one of the most profound cards in this book. Inner reading. This oracle depicts the strength and wisdom of age. It also reminds us that what we need to know, what is truly there to be seen, cannot be discovered by a superficial glance and hasty reaction. Inner reading, the Oakmen tell us to look slowly and deeply into the heart of the matter and to see past the superficialities of the surface. Consider the history of the situation in depth and learn from the past. Consult others with more experience than you have. Learn from the wisdom of the elders, but those available to you personally and those you encounter in books and elsewhere. In this matter, it would be wise to make your decisions after more pondering and study of the situation. Consider motivations in depth. Take action only after thorough deliberation. The Oakmen tell us that haste may be, at this moment, our worst enemy. They also suggest that we might learn a lot from trees. Consider the trees and their wisdom. Connect with a wise old one and ask for help. And there is a specific quote here from Brian, the creator. Fairies speak to us in many, many ways, and we perceive their intent with our ears, our eyes, and our hearts. And our laughter, too. There you go. I should slip something in there so I have to keep finding the page this week. I'm going to slip a card. Oh, that doesn't work. Alright, I'll do that. I can tell. I'm tired. I'm kind of tired, guys. Alright. I need a vacation on a beach with nobody around. Oh, no, I shouldn't say nobody around. Just the bartender. Just the bartender and the personal... Oh, you know what? No, there could be a couple people there. It could be the bartender, the personal masseur, and the private chef. That's all I need on that beach. Yeah, baby. Okay. Aqua babies. We are in the Wild Unknown Tarot deck because the Oakmen are here and you know that's the deck they like to use. So we're going to pull out 4 cards for you. From you. To you. From the Oakmen Aquarius. How profound. They just talked about, you know, don't be hasty. And what are you being asked to release? The Chariot. I feel like in a way the desire to create movement. What are you being asked to embrace? The Emperor who sits on his throne and doesn't move. Hidden factors that you are unaware of. The 4 of Wands. There's celebration. I feel it comes to you. Energy that is approaching you. Damn you, Oakmen. There's always a riddle, isn't there? The 9 of Swords. Wonderful, wonderful. Let's get in our head, shall we? Let's get in our head and like freak ourselves out. Okay. You have got, there is just some weird, unusual energy. I'm feeling tired. I don't know if it's the collective. I don't know if it's the world in general. How y'all feeling out there? Let me know in the comments. I just have been feeling lately like my energy is going down. I'm getting to the point where I don't even exercise much anymore. I just need to sleep. What are you being asked to release, guys? The Chariot. A sense of needing movement after a period of stagnation. A desire to create movement, create energy where energy was not. Coming from a point of healing and moving forward. Not quite yet. Not quite yet, Aquarius. What are you being asked to embrace? The Emperor. This is a card that reminds me so much of the Oakman. It's not an oak tree, though. I like, it reminds me of an elm tree, I think. What do you think? It reminds me of an elm tree. But it does. It stands alone. Think of an elm tree. I think I'm getting it right. It reminds me of when I'm driving and you go through those farm fields and it's nothing. It's just a field. But there's one big ass tree standing in the middle, man. And there's often a fence kind of near it. One of those old wooden fences. And it's those big old elm trees. But this doesn't really look like that. Because that tends to, the branches kind of tend to kind of bow down a bit more. But there's something about that. Like, I'm getting that vision in my head. Like when you're driving and you see that field and that tree stands alone like that. That's kind of the Emperor. I'm getting like the term the master of your own domain. I don't necessarily think that has to do with the Seinfeld version of that. But it really does feel very self-contained. The hidden factor that you are unaware of is the Four of Wands. This is celebration. This is happiness. This is a union of energies that come together and jive so well. But before you get there, my dear Padawan, there is some internal mental struggle that must be met. What is this internal mental struggle? I gotta do it. I gotta do it. I gotta dig further. The Ten of Pentacles. The Eight of Swords. The King of Wands. Talk about an interesting energy that's based around this Nine of Swords that's approaching you. Energy, right? It doesn't mean it's someone coming towards you with some sort of conflict. It could be the way you process information. It could be, I mean, for whatever reason, you're being held back. Or you're being guided. You're being asked to release the concept of moving forward through some sort of guckiness right now. The Ten of Pentacles, where you dwell with others and you do so in a very abundant way, a very stable way. It could be home, it could be work, it could be somewhere where you meet with other people in your community, although I don't think we're doing that much of that right now. But then the Eight of Swords, like look at the Eight of Swords, not to go, like, there's the opposite, right? The opposite of that. This is where you dwell with others in a very abundant, creative, grounded, growth-inspired way. But the Eight of Swords. You don't go. You stay. You don't move. That's what that energy kind of is. But then we have the King of Wands here. You know what it is? I do feel, for whatever reason, because the King of Wands goes after what the King of Wands wants. Like, you know, that's not the only way to describe the King of Wands energy. But in this situation, it seems to come through pretty clearly because there's like a block, like a not to move. Don't go quite yet. Hold back. I'm thinking about the 2021 readings, and there was a lot of that energy where, you know, it's not quite yet. It's not quite yet. You're going to need to be a little bit patient. I'm kind of feeling like some of that is coming in. We're getting close to the end of the year. The King, it's almost like there's something you know that you really want or you're driven to go towards. But you're held back, or you need to negotiate why you feel held back. The King of Wands is also like a very energized. This person has a lot of energy. really driven, really creative, fiery, passionate energy, but holding it back. The hidden factor that you were unaware of is the Four of Wands. The Four of Wands, this hidden factor that Aquarius may be unaware of. Something flipped. Actually, a couple cards. Oh, I thought that was still in the deck. You know what I feel like? This is interesting. So you have the Nine of Cups, the Seven of Swords, the Eight of Pentacles, and the Devil. There's a hidden factor here of some sort of celebration to come. It feels like some sort of celebration to come. It's somehow a hidden factor for you. And how it's a hidden factor? It looks like happiness. Exiting happiness and focusing on work. Exiting happiness and focusing on work. And almost being trapped. There's some sort of entrapment here. You know, I do want to say, like, I bring this up a lot. Like, I try not to do readings and not take into account, like, what the state of the world is right now. So, a lot of people don't have much else that they can do except, you know, do what you have to do at home. Maybe that's where you put your work in. Maybe it's the work you put in with your spouse, with your kids, with parents, just maintaining the home. A lot of people I know, almost everyone I know is working from home now too. So there is but there's so little that we can do outside of that. Like, you know, I think about all the things that I would be taking my son to. We would be doing skating. Now we'd be going a couple of nights a week to go skating, but I don't think that's open. I don't think that's open. And, you know, like a lot of things. So there is, I do want to say, like, if you feel too, like, that where you can share your energy, where you can grow your energy and your creativity has been a little stifled, don't be hard on yourself. Because the world is the way it is right now. I mean, these are timeless, but someone could be coming to this in a year and it might not have anything to do with COVID, but the situation could have them in this sort of energy. There is celebration beyond this point. I do want to say that. There is celebration beyond this point. So what are you being asked to embrace here? Because this is the empowerment, right? Now, like I say, I just get this tree standing on its own in this field. Aquarius, what Aquarius is being asked to embrace. Wow. The Two of Pentacles, the Death card, and Judgment. This seems an awful lot like making a real strong assessment on yourself here. Without a lot of outside influence, right? Because it's the Emperor. It stands alone. Juggling different aspects here. But what are you juggling? Because it feels like there's an awful lot of focus here on, you know what it sounds like? All work and no play. That's what it sounds like. It's like all work and no play. Bring an end to this and have a rebirth. But what do you choose? You know, I feel that with the Judgment. This is what you're being asked to embrace. And I feel like I'm not supposed to tell you. Because the Emperor standing alone in the field, it's up to the Emperor to decide this. The Chariot, what you're being asked to release. Anything else for the Chariot? Just the 2 cards, maybe. Whoa. All swords. Fascinating. The 5 of Swords, the Ace of Swords, and the Page of Swords. This just feels like all things from the past to let, you know, what is that term? Let dead dogs lay. Like, just leave that. Leave the things from the past. But, you know, the Page of Swords is not about a lot of movement here. It is about finding clarity. Finding clarity, claiming clarity, owning clarity. Clarity. And then watching. Watching and learning. Almost from a new perspective. No movement, because watch and learn from a new perspective here. And perhaps that new perspective is what helps you to really embrace this Emperor energy. To make a choice about where you direct your energy. If you can make choices about where you're going to direct your energy. Well, you can, of course. Because even if you still need to be very self-contained, it doesn't mean that you can't sit down. If you've always wanted to write a book, write a short story or write a book. Like, do something creative. Do something different from what feels like work, work, work. Queen of Swords is at the bottom. I'm going to pull out, you know what I want to do? I want to pull out from the other Wild Unknown. Just 1 card to go specifically with the Oakmen here. 1 card to Aquarius from the Wild Unknown Oracle deck. From the Oakmen. I'm giving this a really good shuffle. I haven't used this deck. I haven't used these decks in a while. Wow. I knew it was going to come out. I kept seeing it when I was splitting. The horse. This looks so much like the Chariot, right? Sorry, look at that. What I find interesting though is I always feel like this is a mare and that is a stallion. I find that really interesting energy. So I am picking up a little bit of yin and yang for you. The octopus. Oh, the octopus is so incredible. Such an incredible, fascinating energy. Such a piece of magic that could go so unknown and so unrecognized. I am also getting a little bit of what the original kind of interpretation of this octopus for me was, like, sometimes having so much going on in the head that things outside, not everything may get managed really well. But the 9 of Swords, it's a hidden energy approaching you. I find that interesting that, like, this octopus to me reminds me of the 9 of Swords, and this reminds me of the Chariot, and you have the Chariot here and you have the 9 of Swords here, like on either end. On either end here, you have sort of the same oracle cards. The crescent moon. There's 2 crescent moons here. And they're both facing towards each other. Look at that. And I'm sitting here and the crescent moon is right there. Crazy synchronicity, right, guys? There's some sort of yin and... yeah, the 4 of Wands. There's some sort of yin and yang energy that will be coming together here, but not right yet. But not right yet. So this is a time for you to really own who you are and look into that deeply. That's there. There you go. There's a message to you from the Oakmen, guys. So like I said, I'm going to go do the extended. I will be pulling out a separate fairy card that's going to represent the archetypal energy of your inner child right now. And your inner child will speak to you from, yeah, the tarot and that. really off, guys. So, thank you so much, Aquarius. Until next time, do be gentle with yourselves. Bye.